Good morning. Hi, my name is Sebastian, and I'm here today to share with you a little bit about what's called a mental equivalent. Mental equivalence. What could that be? Well, think about it. Mental, something that's in your mind. An equivalent is something that equals something else. So mental equivalents are like fertilizer for things that we want to create in our objective life. When we want something, it starts out in our mind as an idea, and then it expresses itself out through what's called the subjective consciousness. So the I, the masculine self, plants the seed into the feminine self, create a system of exercise. Like for me, I wake up and I read first. That's mental health for me. I read something spiritual, something that invites good to my life, invites truth and power to my life. Excuse me. And then I go on a run, walk, and I say run, walk because I'm still recovering from a hernia and a toe. So I run as much as I can and then I walk. That's what I can do, so I do it. Do that for about an hour, come back home, write a little bit. That helps me express what I know. And then maybe I do something like this. I share something that I know. And after all this, I eat something because I like to fast in the morning. That's part of my regimen. And then when I eat something healthy. I eat something that has protein. I eat something that's going to encourage my muscles to grow. Then Dave and I are going to go to the gym. Dave is my husband of 8 years. And on January 25th, we celebrated our 8th year anniversary. I'm happy to say. And we go to the gym together. And then maybe this evening when it starts to get cool again, because I'm in Florida and it's pretty hot during the day still. The sun's really bright. I don't lift anything. So my muscles atrophied. So I had to stay a similar weight by doing things like walking and basically just walking. A little bit of stretching. Wasn't allowed to do anything that had to do with my stomach muscles. So a healthy mental key for me was hard to find actually, because there's not a lot of guys my age, I'm almost 65, who are physically, mentally, and spiritually healthy at the same time. And for me, what I wanted to encourage myself to give my thought of health a spark, fertilizer, a mental equivalent. I wanted an idea of someone I could think about that would give me the sense, a mental key that I could use to create myself, to give myself that spark. It's kind of like when I write a character. Like say I'm writing fiction, and I start with an idea, and I start with a person, and that person evolves as I'm writing. That person evolves as a result of me allowing a thought of something similar to what I know. Like, for instance, in my latest book, Gettin Older with Grace, I thought of an older me. I thought of someone who was who grew up in the South in an area that maybe didn't have a lot of external stimuli, cityfied stimuli like I did. And I thought about getting married at a young age because I got somebody pregnant. And but really being in love with somebody else. None of that ever happened to me. But I was able to connect to an idea or a thought and let it grow within me. And I think that's the idea of how we manifest in our physical world. We create a thought, an idea. Say it's prosperity for you. And say you want to start a business that you've always wanted to start in your life. You have to begin at the seed, at the place of the thought, the place of what it is that you feel. And when it's really organically something that you want, it's not all that difficult to take that thought and plant it in what's called the subjective consciousness, in the place spiritually where things grow. Now, you have to believe in a spiritual power, I think, that allows you to imagine that you're planting a thought into the earth, that you're planting a seed into something that's going to allow it to grow. For me, I think it's the thought, the mental idea going into the mental realm, that substance that creates out of the ether what we want in our lives. Let's face it, I mean, last week I thought I really would like to do another commercial. It's been a while, and it's been a few weeks, and I thought, Spirit, and I always imagine perhaps more than what I get, but I imagine my worth being paid for. And like within a day, a producer emailed me or texted me and said, hey, I have a client that you have to come in and do a commercial on Monday. It was a thought, an idea, and because I've done commercials, I need to imagine that mental key, that mental equivalent. It gets a little bit more difficult when I think about a book publishing deal that's really big, like a $1 million publishing deal. I've had small deals, small publishing deals, but I haven't had that big one yet. So I have to think about a mental equivalent and what that might feel like. I remember the first time when I was younger that an agent was interested in something that I had written and wanted to send it out to publishers. How excited I felt. How it opened up this venue of thought. Wonder. It opened up this venue of thought. Wonder. Of excitement, like getting a gift on Christmas or getting a gift on your birthday that you didn't expect. It was powerful, it was palpable, and it made me believe in myself. It gave me the mental fertilizer to begin to write more. Every time something like that happens, it's like one step towards your goal. So sometimes achieving a big goal is moving one step towards a goal, a larger and larger goal. And we have to remember that even in the Bible, when I look at like the promises of God to some people, like the promise of Abraham, the promise of Isaac, they never got to see, or Moses, they never got to see the promised land. But yet they were promised it. And they lived an entire life believing it, even though they never saw it. And I think about that sometimes. I think about, And when that responsibility comes up to my level of perception, I don't want to attack myself. Attacking is like attacking the Son of God. I can't attack myself. I want to think about allowing love to take the next step forward. So if you have a connection to spirit, which I feel like I do, I feel like I've invited God and the Holy Spirit into my soul and into my heart. And when I ask a question of spirit, I expect an answer. So I ask, what would love do? And the answer that rises to my level of perception is what I should do next. Next is all I'm responsible for. The now is all I'm responsible for. And while you're thinking about the now, it's really good to imagine something that fertilizes the present moment. And that fertilizer is what I'm calling the mental equivalent. If you in your life, think about something that you know is love. It might be something you saw, something you never experienced. Or it might be something that you have experienced in the past. Some kind of a love that was so palpable that it excited you, that it made you feel secure and good inside. My mental equivalent for love, you think it might be my husband, but it can be on some days. It's a level of security there, but mine is as my mom. When I used to go into her apartment, after she lived with me for like 13 years, she and my sister moved out. And she became older and she became more immobile. Where, when she lived with me, she'd greet me at the door, and hug me and kiss me and give me all kinds of love. But that is a mental equivalent in itself. But the kind of love that I was thinking about, the kind of love that, oh my gosh, you can't even put words to, was the kind of love that I saw when I would walk in the door and her eyes would glisten and she would open her arms and she would say, my son, my son. That kind of love almost feels like God love. It almost kind of feels like you're the son of the living spirit of love. That's my mental equivalent for love. And when I think about being attacked by something outside of me, something that's negative, I immediately put that mental equivalent into effect and imagine that it's all around me. And then sometimes it transmutes into God love. Mental equivalents are so important to experiencing what you want in your life today. I hope this helps you. I hope this gives you some sense of understanding about the next step for you today. Take a look at all that's inside my comments below. There's some books that I've written. There's a YouTube channel that I would love for you to subscribe to if you haven't already. And also there are links